Fasting can be dangerous. It doesn't have to be the case, but you need to do it correctly. And we're gonna get into that further into this video. But I wanna talk about some things that I believe are really, really interesting with fasting. Fasting is one of the only things that all three major religions agree upon. Judaism, Islam, and Christianity agree upon this one principle and how powerful it can be for self-control, discipline, and to get away and really connect to things that are important. It's a time to separate from earthly desires and connect to God. It also allows us to, as I mentioned, strengthen our self-control and our discipline. This can be used in all areas of life, right? How you do anything is how you do everything. Also, the ability to say no is one of the most important skills that humans can develop. This whole idea of saying no, I always tell my daughters that learning how to say no will oftentimes get you away from a lot of trouble, right? It will keep you from trouble, right? And so developing the ability to say no is super powerful. Fasting strengthens our convictions. It reminds us of our mortality. I believe anytime we're reminded of our mortality, it's humbling and it's something really good for us. It also allows us to subjugate the flesh, which is one of the best things we can do. And even though all of these things are biblical and great for our spiritual health, these are things that aren't being said from the pulpit, and they should be said. It's the pastor's responsibility to keep his congregation healthy, right? Healthy and strong. Here are a few things to consider before you fast. Number one, do you have insulin stability? In other words, do you have any A1C issues, right? If that's the case, then you probably should find a different way to take part in this fast. Maybe fasting from something you like, but not necessarily going without food. Number two, do you take food with your daily medication? You have to eat so that you can actually take your daily medications. That's important, and that's another reason why you should probably opt out from fasting from food and do it in another way. Number three, water should never be omitted, right? You should always drink water, half a gallon to a gallon of water. Please don't listen to any other advice in regards to not drinking water and being careful, because you'll be more spiritual if you don't drink water. Guys, nothing can be further from the truth. You need to drink water. It's super important, and it's irresponsible for anyone to tell you that you shouldn't drink water throughout the day. Half a gallon to a gallon of water throughout the day. Number four, coffee does not break your fast from a caloric perspective, but it is a stimulant and it acts as an appetite suppressant. So this is up to you, but once again, it doesn't break the actual fast. Number five, if you start to cramp, specifically in the back of your legs, you must bring in a little bit of salt or some electrolytes. As a matter of fact, I would say that if you're gonna start an extended fast first thing in the morning, you should just grab a little pinch of salt or some electrolytes, because that is the healthiest way to fast. You're not cheating. This is actually one of the best ways so that you don't start cramping up, because I've been on extended fast. My longest fast was a 3-day fast. I had to break that fast because I completely neglected salt or electrolytes. And a couple of days in, the cramps were so bad I couldn't sleep. And I started to get worried. I said, man, is something happening to me, right? And yes, something was happening. My body was going nuts because I hadn't had nutrients in 3 days. I was drinking very little water. And so you don't want to do that. You want to make sure you get a little pinch of salt or take some electrolytes. Number six, fasting can be detrimental to the elderly or to people with a weak immune system. So if this is you, once again, you can choose another way of fasting, but don't neglect food, okay? This is really, really important. I see a lot of elderly people trying to fast and they have a really, really hard time, or people that have autoimmune disease, or people that are struggling in any way, shape, or form with their immune system should not fast for long periods of time. Number seven, if you suffer from arrhythmias, be careful when you break your fast. You must do it slowly. What happens is when you go without eating, your heart rate is very, very low. Your oxygen saturation decreases. And then if you start eating right away and you start eating a ton, that can really jolt your heart. And if you have arrhythmias, that can be very, very complicated. So I would say be very careful. Number eight, you should be very, very careful with the foods that you eat once you break the fast. Something liquid with nutrients will do. And so things like soups, protein shakes are some of the things that you can ingest after breaking your fast. And this is gonna just allow you to slowly but surely get back into the rhythm of eating. And so once again, any kind of soups, try not to put a lot of salt or condiments in there. protein shakes. Ideally, if you can do a plant-based protein shake, that'll be way better. And I would say that if you can just start very slowly, just kind of sip on things very slowly. Number 10, make sure you avoid this, okay? Eating a ton of starches, fats, salt can be one of the most detrimental things that you can do to your health and to your waistline, right? I see people take out entire villages when they come back from a fast. That's not the point, guys. The point is, yes, to fast, to go without food, but then when you come back, to have prudence, right? Not to overdo it, not to overindulge. And there is such thing as you know, honoring God with food, right? And a part of that is practicing prudence. And so no need to stuff your face because you can get super sick. And on top of that, that's not the point of fasting, at least a spiritual fast, right? Number 11, fasting for weight loss can be efficient when you break the fast, right? And you bring in the right portions and the right macros. Sometimes people fast because they think, well, I'm fasting with my church, and then on top of that, I'm gonna lose some weight. Guys, the idea of calories in, calories out is a real thing. It is more complex than that, but I'm here to say that they still count. So if you have a 24-hour fast and then in a matter of 10 minutes you consume 4,000 calories, you're gonna put on a ton of weight. Okay, so no matter how long you go with fasting, whatever you bring in once you break that fast really counts. Number 12, the act of spiritual fasting is pivotal to your spiritual success. But beyond this, we must maintain prudence, as I said, when you break your fast. So in conclusion, I would say this: fasting can be very powerful for your mind, your body, and your spirit. Jesus said, when you fast, not if you fast. In other words, it's a mandate for Christians. It must be done well so that you don't end up throwing your health for a loop. Before I go, I want to say this. Fasting is one of the things that I believe to be one of the most powerful tools if you do it correctly. I just want to conclude here and bring everything together. If you are struggling with overeating, if you are struggling with discipline, you're undisciplined, you have a lack of self-control, you have a hard time following through, you procrastinate a lot, I believe the cure to that can be fasting, a lifestyle of fasting, and you have to do it well. And so once again, if you are not a seasoned faster or a person that fasts all the time, then start slow. All you need to do is push your breakfast out 1 or 2 hours ahead of what you usually do. So if you have breakfast at 7, you would start eating at 8, and then the following week at 9, and then the following week at 10, and then you can push it out, and then maybe you can do a 12 or a 16 hours of fasting, 8-hour window of eating. I hope you've enjoyed this video. More importantly, I hope you put it to action. My name is JT Tapias with the Empty Your Bucket Nutrition Plan. And we're not family yet. If you haven't subscribed to my channel, please do so we can stay in touch. I'll talk to you guys soon. Ciao, ciao.